Hi class, for this module, we want to review solving linear equation. To solve linear equation, I like to think of it as two big steps. The first step is you want to simplify your equation first. So you can get the form ax plus b equals c right here. And then the next step would be solving for x, which is isolate the variable. So number 3 right here has all the steps we have to take in order for us to solve linear equations. So first thing, I want to simplify. So every time you see parenthesis, you want to distribute. So we got negative 10y plus 4 plus 7y equals 3y plus 6. After that, we combine like terms. So negative 10y plus 7y is negative 3y. And then right here, I have 3y plus 6. The next step would be move all the variable to one side. So I'm going to subtract negative 3y here, subtract negative 3y. So we ended up with negative 6y plus 6 equals 6. This is a step that I call solving for the variable. Let me fix this as a 4. So we have to move everything, we have to isolate the variable, so I'm going to subtract 4. So we ended up with negative 6y equals 2. And then I divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. So we ended up with negative 1/3. Don't forget, you can always check your solution by plugging in the original. Now, number 4. Number 4 is straightforward. However, I do want to remind you that every time you want to get rid of fractions, we can always multiply everything by the LCD. So in this case, if you want to work with fraction, that's fine too. We follow the rules. But if you want to get rid of it, we multiply everything by the LCD. And in this case, the LCD would be 30. Okay, don't forget you have to multiply everything by the LCD. So first, we have negative 5/3 multiplied by 30. So 30, you simplify 30 and 3, which is 10. So 10 times negative 5 is negative 50. Equals 30 divided by 5 is 6u. And then a half times 30, that's 15. So now we just proceed the problem. I have 15 here. So we have negative 35 equals 6u. Therefore, u is going to be negative 35 over 6. And that's our final answer. Same thing for number 5. So if you don't want to work with fraction, we can always multiply everything by the LCD. So in this case, the LCD is 15. The one thing I will need to remind you is every time you multiply by the LCD, make sure you multiply every single term. A lot of people look at the whole number, this one right here, and say, oh yeah, I don't have to get rid of a fraction, so I don't have to worry about that number. No, that's not true. You want to multiply everything, otherwise you change the problem. Nine. All right, so what we have minus 60, negative 72x minus 10 equals negative 9. So I'm going to add 10. So we ended up with negative 72x equals to 1. So we ended up with 1 divided by negative 72. So negative 1 over 72. Don't forget to simplify your solution. All right, Moving on to the next problem. This one is a little bit different. Yes, you do want, if you want to get rid of the LCD, once again, you have to multiply, okay? But be careful when you multiply, because what we have right here is a binomial. So let's do the same thing. So I'm going to multiply everything by the LCD, which is 4. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 4 by 14. So we got 56 here. So I can do that for the next part. So it's 5v minus 4. And then 4 and 2 right here. So we ended up with 2, right? So this is something you have to be careful. So we have 2 times 4v minus 9. So make sure you distribute the 2. So we ended up with 56 5v minus 4 plus 8v minus 18. Same thing. Combine like terms. So we have 13v, like term, negative 4 minus 18, negative 22. And then I can add 22, add 22. So that's 78. Equals 13v. And then you divide by 13, you divide by 13. So v is 6. Okay. All right. So for number 7, I'm going to write down the problem for you. So this problem really is straightforward. So 3v plus 1 in parentheses plus 2v equals 5, v minus 1 plus 5. All right, so we proceed the problem. 3v plus 3 plus 2v equals 5v minus 5 plus 5. Okay, so same thing, we combine like terms. We combine like term. Now, you see right here, if I subtract 5v minus 5v right here, I ended up cancel out the whole thing. And I ended up with a false statement. You see, when everything cancel out, so I have all the variable cancel out. And I ended up with a false statement. Of course, 3 is not equal to 0, so it's a false statement. So we have 2 different cases. When all variables cancel out. If you have a false statement, that means we have no solution. If all variables cancel out and you have a true statement, so you ended up with like 2 equals 2, 5 equals 5, 0 equals 0, that means all real number. So the solutions are all real numbers.